Hi, writers. I got some questions on the next module, so I wanted to go over it for you, and maybe it would help you out a little. You're going to be researching for this module, okay? So let's go into it. This is all that education stuff. It says all of these standards that I'm going to teach you in this little block. Read through it so you can see what's expected of you. And then when you click on next, we're going to talk about why research is important. You need to research certain topics for your writing because you don't know everything. Sometimes you can pretend you do, but you don't know everything. So let's think about why you would need to do research. We have one here. Maybe one of your characters has an incurable disease, and you're going to need to know something about that disease. What would the symptoms be? How would they treat that disease? Would the person be in a hospital? How long would they live? So you would have to research whatever that disease is to give more details in your writing. What if you were writing about a police officer? Then police officer has to go to the crime scene. You need to know what procedures that cop should take. So you're going to need to research what a police officer does on a crime scene. What if you have a character who really likes Cuban food and you've never eaten it? You're going to need to find out what kind of Cuban food your character could order for lunch. Okay? There's two videos in the module that you can look at. One deals with the history of vampires, and one deals with chocolate. I tried to pick something that I thought would interest you guys. Pay special attention to how much information is in that video, because that's what you're going to ultimately end up doing. So there's a little breakdown about why we're doing a research project. Let's go to our next page. Here is the video on vampires, okay? And it talks about folklore, fantasy, and fact. And then you need to think about it. You need to think about what you watch. Think about all of the information that was put out there, all right? Then you're going to go to the chocolate video next, okay? Lots of information in this one, too. All right. You need to come up with reliable sources for your projects. This video talks to you about what reliable sources are and where you should be looking for information. Sadly, Wikipedia is not something you should be using because people can go in there like you and I and edit things in Wikipedia. And we are not credible. Okay, we might not be credible. So watch that so you get an idea of what I'm looking for with sources. And then the next is actually another video of me talking more about it. Okay, so you should have a pretty good idea of what reliable sources are and what you can use for a proper research project. Okay, you're going to be doing a lot of video watching in this module. But here we go. The first thing you're going to do for a grade is your conference. And you're going to contact me about your conference after you've decided what you're going to do. You're going to tell me what you're going to be writing your report on. You're going to tell me what your sources are. Where did you get the information for your research project? What are you going to cover about that certain topic? How are you going to present? Okay, so I want to know your plans. Okay, we're also going to talk about putting together an outline, which is your next assignment. When you have all of this stuff together, you should email me when you want to set up your conference. In that email, I want the list of websites that you want to use, okay? I want to be able to click on those websites and go and look at them and see if they are reliable. I'm going to grade you on your conference, and this tells you down here what I'm going to use. And down here is the actual rubric, okay? I'm going to grill you on your topic, and I want to know what you're doing, and you'll get a good grade if you've picked a topic that's going to work for the assignment, okay? What about your sources? I'm going to grade you on whether or not you have reliable web sources. Topics to be covered. You're going to have a clear plan on what you want to present about that topic, okay? And you're ready to make an outline. You've seriously thought about your topic, and you've seriously thought about what you want to investigate about that topic. I feel that you're ready to go on and make the outline, okay, because that's your next step. Okay, the last thing I'm going to talk to you about is your presentation tool. You know what you're going to use to make the presentation. Okay, so this is how I will grade you for your conference. You're not going to submit anything for this. I'll be going in to grade you for that. Okay. Don't contact me about your conference if you don't know what you're doing and you don't have sources and you can't talk to me about all these things, okay? So make sure you review that rubric and you are ready for the conference with that information. Your next assignment's going to be your outline and your sources, okay? We're not going to do a strictly formal outline, but I'm going to show you how I want it set up, okay? All right. Here's your outline, and I have an example for you from the vampire video. Here's the topic, the history of the vampire. They chose to cover 3 topics. At least I picked out 3 topics. The origin, where the vampire came from, vampires and people, and vampires and literature. What am I going to talk about in origin? I'm going to give a little bit of a brief history. I'm going to talk about how different cultures see the vampires. What's the one attribute they all share, okay? So origin is one of the topics I'm going to cover, and I've given examples of the things I want to cover under origin. Vampires and people, here's 2 things I'm going to cover under there. The third topic in the presentation was vampires and literature, and here's what they talked about there with the vampires and literature, okay? I also need your sources. I want the name of the page and the URL. And, I want to know that you've used all the information that you've received on the reliable sources. So make sure your sources are reliable. Okay? And then we're going to culminate all of this with your research presentation. It's going to be at least 3 minutes long. You should be either narrating it or appearing in the video as part of your presentation. You can use PowerPoint, you can use Prezi, you can use something on Canvas. I do not care, but you should know what you're going to use and know how to use it, okay? And you can research anything you're interested in knowing something more about or anything that a character should know, all right? And that's pretty much that module. If you have any questions or issues, let me know. Thank you.